I am convinced that if you want to live your very best life despite having MS, you have to master the art of paradigm shifting. If you're not sure what that is or how you could incorporate it in your life, don't turn away, because all that starts right now. Howdy, and thanks for learning about MS with me, Aaron Boster. I heard a quote once, and I don't remember who said it, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but it went something like this. The problem isn't the problem. Your attitude about the problem is the problem. Now, the first time I heard that, I thought it was a little goofy, and you might also, but if you think about it, it really speaks to this concept of paradigm shifting. It's a concept that, in my opinion, you would do well to master to live your very best life despite having MS. Multiple sclerosis can cause you to have difficulties doing something. You could temporarily, or in some cases permanently, lose a function, making it hard to do an activity, or at least doing activity the way that you're used to. And it's been my experience that if we reframe how to think about the problem, literally think about the problem outside the box by paradigm shifting, we can oftentimes accomplish the goal nonetheless. And to explain it, I'm going to use an analogy of you with your family on an awesome motorboat out in a giant lake, having a blast, and the motor falls off the boat and sinks into the water. Now we got a problem. Here you've got your entire family on this boat, you're in the middle of a lake, and you don't have your motor. What are you going to do? Well, you clearly need to get your family back to shore. And you clearly cannot do it the way that you got out there. And so you're going to have to come up with a different way. You're going to have to paradigm shift. You could take all the available clothes and sew them into a sail and build a mast, and then you could sail into the shore. You could find some oars and row into shore. You could use your phone and call the Coast Guard. My point is, you're going to come up with an alternative way to get back into shore. By changing the way that you approach the problem, you're going to solve it. And that's the concept of paradigm shifting. And it applies all over the place as we try to live our very best life despite having MS. Let me give you a few real-world examples. The most common that I've heard, particularly from gentlemen, is issues surrounding lawn care. For real. Here in the Midwestern United States, it's a male badge of honor to mow your lawn and make your lawn look gorgeous. And that's something a guy does on Saturday, most often. Oftentimes, a guy learned how to mow his lawn when he was about 10 or 11 from his dad, and he's been doing it exactly the same way every Saturday ever since. How's it work? Well, you wait until the middle of the midday sun after lunch. You go out when it's super hot outside and you mow the entire lawn. It takes an entire hour, and then you come inside and you drink a beer or something like that. And what can happen in the setting of motor fatigue and heat sensitivity is a guy with MS tries to mow his lawn that way, and his wife finds him in the backyard, and his legs are so weak he can't get inside, and she's got to help him get inside. Seriously, this happens. And psychologically, it can be really, really challenging for a gentleman not to be able to mow his lawn because, again, it's one of his chores and responsibilities. And it's his male badge of honor to make his lawn look awesome. So what can he do? We can find a solution by paradigm shifting. What I recommend is that we mow the front half of the lawn only on Saturday morning before the sun comes up. In fact, I would go out as early as you're culturally allowed. In my neighborhood, that would be probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So you go out as early as possible, just mow the front lawn, come inside and take a lukewarm shower, not a hot shower. And you're going to be able to have an excellent Saturday. And then on Sunday, before you go to church in the morning, before the full sun's up, mow the backyard. Again, just the backyard. Come inside, take a cool shower, and then start your Sunday. At the end of the weekend, you've got your man points. Your lawn is mowed, it's looking awesome, and you were able to accomplish it simply by changing the timing that you mowed early in the mornings and by breaking the task up. This is an example of paradigm shifting that allows a guy to get the job done and to feel like he's accomplished something that he really needed to get done. Hey, real quick before we go on, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. Those two actions teach the YouTube algorithm that you like what I'm doing, and they help push the content out so more people impacted by MS can benefit. Thank you. My next example has to deal with an assist device, like a cane or a walker. Sometimes someone with MS can develop difficulties with walking, which can get worse over time. And oftentimes, someone does not want to have to grab an assist device. And they want to just try to do it on their own, even though it's getting a little less and less safe. And if you ask them why, they say, look, I'm young, I don't want to use a cane. I don't want someone to see me with a cane. We have to really unpack this and think about it. I don't want you to have to use an assist device in public, but more importantly, I don't want you to fall in public. I want you to be safe in public. And there might be a degree of embarrassment as you consider using a cane for the first time. I would submit to you it's more embarrassing to fall down and have people have to help pick you up. Let's think about this differently, though. Let's paradigm shift. If you use a cane in public, not only are you being smart and safe and keeping yourself from shattering your hip, God forbid, you're also doing something culturally important. You're teaching those around you that smart people that don't want to fall use a cane. And I envision that across the street is a mom and her son, and they're walking along, and the son looks over and sees someone using a cane and says, "Hey, mommy, why is that woman using a cane?" And it gives the mother an opportunity to normalize it and say, "Honey, that woman is being really smart. She's using a cane so that she doesn't fall." And if you don't use a cane in public, you deny that mother and son that conversation. By paradigm shifting, by appreciating that the goal is to ambulate safely without falling, and to maintain our dignity and not fall, and to normalize using an assist device, it helps us feel more confident doing the thing that's safe, that's going to keep us upright, using a cane, as opposed to trying to traverse with nothing and risk having a tumble. Similarly, someone might feel comfortable using a cane, but the problem is their balance has gotten to the point where they're no longer stable in multiple directions, and that cane's not helping them, and they're falling even though they're using a cane. In this situation, we sometimes have to paradigm shift and transfer to bilateral assist using two canes or even a walker. And again, I will hear a lot of resistance in clinic. I don't want to do that, and I appreciate not wanting to. And I'll send you to neurophysical therapy, and we will do our very best to maintain. But at the same time, I really want us to change our focus to paradigm shift to safety. Because if by using a walker, you're able to traverse safely across the parking lot and get into the restaurant, that's really the goal, is arriving safely, not doing it with only a cane. Paradigm shifting can be really important so that we can continue to ambulate as far as we need to, as safe as we're able to. Do you have an awesome example of paradigm shifting that you could share with this community? Please leave your example in the comments section below. I'll look forward to reading it, and I know others will as well. Another very common example that we game out in clinic is exercise. Oftentimes, the peak of our exercise career was around high school or maybe early college. And back then, we had boundless energy. Our functional reserve was really, really big. We were in the best shape of our lives, and we could do things that we can't do very well anymore. The problem is that's our understanding of exercise. That's how we know to exercise. And I have several videos on this channel talking about how to game out exercise with MS. Simply put, you might not be able to exercise the way that you used to. You might have to come up with an alternative and new method for exercise. Keeping in mind the goals of exercise with MS. It's to exercise as part of your lifestyle. It's to integrate it into your lifestyle. And the focus, in my opinion, is fourfold. We should really focus exercise on balance, strengthening your core, flexibility, and cardiovascular endurance. And so if you used to be a long-distance runner and that's really challenging for you, you might be able to use a stationary bicycle and still get an awesome cardiovascular exercise without having the problems of risking falling or being out in the heat or what have you. If you have very serious balance problems and it makes it so that you can't do the activities that you used to enjoy, try doing something in the water, in the swimming pool. If you're falling to the left, it pushes to the right. My point here is by paradigm shifting, we can have success with exercise. We might just not be able to do it the way that we used to. Now, if you're listening going, well, that sounds great, Aaron, but how do I execute? I'm not sure how to make that paradigm shift. This is where neurophysical therapy is super awesomely helpful. Neurophysical therapists are ninjas that don't get into the why as much as the how. They look at the goal with you and they can game out creative, awesome ways of accomplishing that goal, incrementally so. So if you're looking at starting an exercise regimen with MS, starting off with NeuroPT is a great way to do it. Another super important place to apply paradigm shifting is in the workplace. The statistics are really scary that on average, half of people impacted by MS leave the workforce because of their disease within 10 years, and I do not like that. It's been my observation that if we can apply work accommodations, we can keep someone working successfully and productively in the workplace. It doesn't have to be a binary, do it like this or don't do it. And I want to give a couple examples. I make this video in June 2022, during our third year of the global viral pandemic. And the whole world learned that yes, we can do work from home. Even though the chronic disease communities of the world have been demanding work from home for decades, now we finally realize that they were right and it can be done. As we return to the workforce, as we return to the workplace, we found that a lot of people impacted by MS perform better when they don't have to travel into work and come back. And so developing a work accommodation where the person with MS continues to work from home full-time or works from home some days during the week or a part of their day can really make a really big difference. Likewise, we can find work accommodations in other ways. I'll use nursing as an example. Being a nurse is insanely hard because you have to think and be on your feet the whole time. And oftentimes, inpatient nurses work very long shifts, like 10 or 12 hours. Now here's something scary. If the nurse that's supposed to come on the next shift doesn't come in, they can remand the nurse. They can make her stay a second shift. And in the setting of MS, that can be a no-go. And so putting an accommodation in place that this person can work most definitely, but they can't be remanded can make a big difference. A third example would be someone who's working in a factory. Factory work is super hard, and oftentimes someone may be asked or told to stand on their feet working in front of a machine nonstop. If we allow that person to sit on a high stool and have a 15-minute break every 2 hours, we can keep them working effectively and by accommodating, by paradigm shifting, keep the person in the workplace. A really important place to apply. Now, how do you figure out work accommodations? This is a great discussion to game out with your MS clinician. You also may find it helpful to talk to a sympathetic manager or to your HR department. Paradigm shifting can not just help us in the workplace, it can help us in the bedroom. That's right, I'm talking about sex. Oftentimes, we fall into a pattern with sex. We might only plan to have intercourse at night after we're in bed because it's convenient, we see our partner then, and the kids are quiet in their own rooms. The problem is that that's the worst time of the day to have sex because you're absolutely exhausted and have no energy left, and there's no way that's going to be a successful evening. Also, a lot of people plan to have sex spontaneously, meaning they like the idea that it's a spontaneous thing that they and their lover experience. And sometimes in the setting of MS, we need to be planful if we're going to have intercourse. Thirdly, a lot of times we default to having sex in certain positions. And those particular positions might cause an individual with MS to have pain or spasms or get too fatigued. We can still have meaningful intercourse. We can still have meaningful sex with our partner. We just may have to paradigm shift. We may have to plan out intercourse. We may have to change the time we do it to the morning. We may have to talk about different positions. My point here is, if the goal is awesome sex with your partner, we might still be able to accomplish that goal by paradigm shifting and considering how we have sex in the bedroom or in some other room a little bit different. If you'd like to hear more tricks and tips to live your very best life despite having MS, click the video that's on your screen right now. Until my next Monday morning video or my next live stream, or even better yet, the next time I see you at the Boster Center for Multiple Sclerosis, this is Aaron Boster saying be safe and take care.